Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you 3 different ways that you can capture an entire web page as an image. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of supporters. Go here to MACMOST.com/Patreon to read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content. So sometimes I need to capture an entire web page as an image. I'm not talking about just what you see on the screen, but the entire thing scrolling down all the way to the bottom. There are many different ways to do this. None of them are perfect. Let me show you 3 ways and you can figure out which is the best one for you. Now the first option I'm going to show you is to use what you already have on your Mac. Just simply use Safari to do this. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, wait a minute, what he's going to show us is using File, Print, and then go PDF, save it as a PDF, and you can convert that to an image. But this actually doesn't create a really good screenshot of the entire page. Mostly because most web pages have a separate style sheet for printing. So when you go to print it, it looks very different than what you're seeing on the screen. Now this is great if you want to save an article for reading later. You could save out a long web page as a PDF, leave it as a PDF, don't convert it to an image, and now you can open it up in just about anything and zoom in on the text and all of that. But if you're trying to save an image of everything that's on the web page, this is not the way to go. But there is another function in Safari that will actually capture an image. To get it you need to first go to Safari Preferences and make sure under Advanced you have Show Develop Menu in Menu Bar. So I've got the Develop menu here. Now this has a set of commands that will bring up extra tools. The main one being Show Web Inspector. So we'll use that. Option Command I. So we're on a page here and let's say it's a pretty simple page and it's at Apple's website, right? So it should work. So I'm going to use Command Option I. Brings up all these tools. Now these are tools for if it's your website and you want to debug what's there because something's not displaying correctly. But the screenshot tool is hidden in here. So you can select an element in here and you can see it highlights. There's the entire HTML page. There's the body. There's just the nav bar. I want to go over HTML for the entire page and control click on it. Then I have some options. One of those is capture screenshot. So I'm going to capture a screenshot of the HTML element. In other words, the entire page. When I do that it's going to come up with a way to save. I'll save. And here I get the screenshot. I'll open it up in Preview and I could see as I zoom in it's a really long image with a perfect representation of the entire page there. Great. Let's try another page here. I'll go to MACMOST, Command Option I. I'll click on HTML, Control click on it, Capture Screenshot. Let's save that out. Nice. I get a beautiful screenshot of that site. Fortunately it doesn't always work. For instance, sometimes when I go to capture MACMOST's main page I get all this extra white space around it for some reason. Let's try it with this page though and it really won't work because I'll go to HTML here, Control click, Capture Screenshot. All I get is an error message down here, could not capture screenshot. So it does not work all the time. Now if you have a specific use for this, you want to capture your own web page or some particular site and you try it and it works, great, you're done. You've gotten it for free, you don't have to install anything. But if it's not working then you need another option. Now you may be thinking, wait a minute, isn't there a Safari extension that can do this? And there used to be some, but none of the ones I tried work anymore. I think as Safari has gotten more secure, it's been harder for developers to have this feature and the older extensions simply have not kept up. There are Chrome extensions that can do it, so if you use Chrome as your main browser, you might want to look into those. So the next way to go is to buy professional screen capture software. So this is going to cost you some money. There are various screen capture apps out there that will allow you to capture an entire web page. TechSmith's Snagit app is one I've used in the past for various things and it has a couple of ways to capture a web page. So for instance I can go to this page here and let's try to capture it since Safari couldn't do it. I can use Snagit and it will give me the option here to capture an entire web page. So I can do selection and say web page and it gives me this special box here that I can enter a URL in, or it works if I just drag it from Safari in here. And what it's going to do I think is download it separately in its own little web browser thing and capture the entire thing. And here it has opened it up in its own little editing tool. I can add markup for it and things like that. and I can also just save it out as a PNG. And now I can open that up in Preview, zoom in, and I get a perfect representation of this entire page. So this works really well. There's another way to do it in Snagit also. You can capture an entire scrolling window. So I could go here to Selection and say I just want to do a region, capture. I can focus here on the page and it gives me this little down arrow, capture vertical scrolling area. And if I click that, it's actually going to scroll slowly through the web page. You can see it doing it over here and it's capturing each section of it. So it really is getting a very accurate look at this web page just as you would see it on the screen. So it took about 2 minutes for this very long page, but I've got the same thing here and I can save it out now and have an image. So Snagit works very well, just costs you some money, but it does give you accurate screen captures of web pages in 2 different ways. So here's a third way to do it, and it's free but you do have to download software. You actually just download the Firefox browser. Now I don't typically use Firefox for much. I like it. It's a good browser. I use Safari for just about everything. I use Chrome for a couple of things that are very Google specific. And I use Firefox for this one particular task. Firefox has a built-in screen capture for the entire web page. If you're viewing a page like this, you get the little 3 dots here at the top. Click on that and one of the options is take a screenshot. You select that and now look over here. You've got Save Visible and Save Full Page. Select Save Full Page and it's going to screen capture the entire thing. It does it really quickly. Look at that. I've got the entire page here and I can then hit the download button and it will save that file out. And I can click here on the downloads link and I can see where it saved it here. So let's go to it. You can see I put it in my downloads folder, which is a good place for a browser to store something like that. I'll double click on it and here it is. Now I was prepared to tell you that this is just as good as using something like Snagit because it seems to be perfect, but maybe not quite, because I noticed here at the bottom of this very long page for some reason the references are all messed up. They're just white on white. So I'm not sure about that. Most of the time when I've used it it's captured it perfectly. So it's a good option. Of course we already have Firefox. It's a great option for you, but there's no harm in having multiple browsers on your Mac and using them for specific purposes like just having Firefox and using it for this when you need it. So you have 3 options. Use the Safari Developer Tools. You don't have to download anything extra. You don't have to pay for anything, but sometimes it doesn't work. The second thing is to pay for software like Snagit or some other screen capture software that will get the job done and most likely do it perfectly. And the third option is to use Firefox, which seems to work better than Safari. It's quicker and easier to use than Safari, but it does require you to download Firefox and have that as an extra browser on your Mac. So pick which option is best for you if you need to capture an entire web page as an image. I publish new tutorials every weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Then hit the little bell icon to get notifications for each new tutorial.